G'day legends, it's Mark here from North Oz, and in today's video we're going to be doing an initial review of the 60 litre King's upright fridge. So let's get stuck into it today. It's going to be a good one. So before we get started with today's video, I did buy this with my own money, and so this is just a review that I'm deciding to make because I think other people will be interested in this as well. So the reason why I bought this one in particular was not because it was the best bang for buck. It was purely because it was the only one that would fit. As you can see, it is pretty much to the millimeter. Required a little bit of squishing down to be able to get into my canopy. But yeah, today we're going to do a little bit of initial impressions and let you know what I think of this fridge, and also I'll let you know kind of how things go as my ownership of this fridge progresses, and I'll let you know kind of how it goes on some of my tougher trips as well. And yeah, I'll keep you in the loop anyway. So to start off with, the unboxing. How did it look in the box? And it was very well packaged, super easy to get out as well. It had one of those kind of slip-on sort of situations where you just cut the bottom parts, you know, the things that strap over it, and you just lifted it right off, and it was super easy to get out of its base. So it was packaged really well, super easy to get out, so I had no issues with the packaging there. A couple of things that I really appreciate just out of the box and straight up was the fact that it has an Anderson plug. That just makes my life easy. That's one less thing I have to do. So it's all ready to go. Just had to plug it into my current Anderson plug setup, and it was ready to roll. So the 60 litre fridge, when I got it out, it does weigh a little bit. It's not the lightest thing out there, that's for sure. But in terms of materials, it's structured pretty well. It's got a pretty good structure to it. The outside is magnetic, so it's obviously made out of steel. You know, there are a few things on there that are a little bit dinky that you might expect with something of this, I guess, value, or something of this price, such as this little area here around the handle there that just kind of locks the door. It kind of pops out really easily. So, you know, when you get the protective sticker off the front of it, you kind of have to pop that out, and it kind of came off a little bit easier than I was expecting. But install went pretty well. We've got the instruction manual here, won't be needing that because I'm a man. You know, we have a look at the brackets that they supply. It's basically just 2 screws that go into the side, and it's got 4 of them. So kind of 2 screws, and then it's got like an L-shaped bracket where you just use a supplied screw down into whatever setup that you have. Obviously, if you have a ute tub or something, then you'd just be wanting to widen out that hole and just kind of make it a bit of a bolt sort of a situation. But at least they provide some brackets and a way of doing it. One thing that you do have to watch out for is that these screws going into the fridge, they do cross thread very easily, so just double check to make sure that doesn't cross thread, but just do everything hand tight. It's also got a 5-year warranty, which is pretty good as well, which means that if I have any troubles with it, I can just pop into any you know, Adventure Kings and sort it out. So it makes it pretty easy. In terms of some of the design features that I like and dislike, listen, probably one of the main things I'm a little bit concerned about is there's a lot of plastic on some of the important bits. So for example, this like kind of little latch there as well, and the door is got a lot of plastic trim around the outside of it, which is kind of easy to lift up. A little bit concerned about that, but we'll see how things go as time goes on. The design of it is a little bit of frustration for me when I was installing this into my canopy. For those of you who have seen my kind of fit out of what I've got here, it was a little bit of a hassle for me to try to get this upright fridge in its spot because I'm not sure how the measurements work, but when I did my measurements, I had about 3 or 4 mil of clearance at the top, and then when I went to put this in, I all of a sudden had no clearance. So I think that there's this little lip up here that is actually made out of steel, which is good, and it catches the latch here for the, I guess kind of like the little safety latch here. So it does catch that latch, so it does have a purpose, but I kind of feel like that it sticks out a bit from the back of the fridge, so I would much rather it just all be level and across. If anything, you probably want to have the lip go down from the back of the unit so that wherever you're opening it out of actually gives you a little bit more clearance. So they kind of got a little bit wrong. Instead of having the door opening kind of system up a bit, they actually should have put it down a bit so it can fit in, you know, situations like this canopy, and I could have just pushed it from the other side and it would have sit nice and flush. So that was kind of my initial gripes to begin with. I have cycled this. Like I said, this is just initial impressions. I have cycled this fridge for about 3 or 4 days in my current setup. I didn't put anything in there. I just wanted to see how it worked and how it cooled, especially with the initial cooling time, to see how that looked to begin with. I was pretty impressed with how quickly it cooled down. Straight away, I started to notice that it was the temperature in the inside of the fridge was starting to get cooler. Something that kind of annoyed me a little bit. And over 3 or 4 days, it was fine. Like it kept nice and cool. I checked up on it every day, and it was doing its job. The only couple of things I was a little bit concerned about is when I turned off the fridge, it did leave a lot of condensation in the back part of the unit. It's kind of got this big chunk in the back of the unit, and I wasn't really impressed with how much condensation there was on there. I wiped it a few times, and it kind of just kept getting more and more condensation on it, so maybe more insulation in the fridge might have been a good idea. But the other thing as well is that there is a temperature little setting in there. Now, my other fridge, my Coolman fridge, it actually has a temperature on there, and you can set it, but once you finish setting it, it actually tells you what the ambient temperature is inside the fridge as well, so you can kind of keep an eye on it. But this one, you set it to, say, 2 degrees, for example, and it just still shows 2 degrees. It's not an accurate temperature setting, so it makes it very difficult to monitor it. I mean, for the price as well, I kind of think that they probably could have put some sort of Bluetooth monitoring device in it. I mean, I've got a Brass Monkey fridge down there that's, 4 years old, and that I used in my very, very first setup, so those people who've been watching my channel for a long time. And like that thing has Bluetooth. I actually made a Bluetooth review guide on it and how to use the Bluetooth on it, because it has it, so that's something that for the price, I reckon they probably could have included, especially that Brass Monkey fridge is like $160, and this one's about $400. So I think that they could have included Bluetooth for the price, or at least some sort of accurate temperature monitoring in there. So I will be putting my own thermometer in there just to keep an eye on things. Unfortunately, my options were a bit limited in terms of what fridge I could get, purely because I had to get something that fit here. So I did have a look at some of the other ones from like Bunnings, for example. They had like Glacio or something like that fridges, but unfortunately they were all just a little bit too chunky. So the 60 litre from Kings was my choice in the end. So these are kind of a few things that I have noticed from my initial impressions. And guys, I'm going to keep it nice and short, simple and sweet, because that's how it is. There's nothing else to talk about. So at this point, that's what I think of it so far. It cools, it does its job for now. We'll see how it goes on some of the tough tracks and as we go camping for long periods of time. But until then, I'll be doing probably a couple month review on it. So I'll do one in about 2 or 3 months just to keep you updated, and then we'll do a long-term review on it as well. So guys, that's it for today's video. If you have any questions, put them down in the comment section. Make sure you've subscribed if you haven't, and I'll see you very shortly in the next video. Take care. We've got the instruction manual here. Won't be needing that because I'm a man. No, I'm joking. I actually need to see how this gets installed, so let me have a quick look at this. Well, I actually could have thrown the instructions away because that wasn't very helpful at all. All the instructions said was refrigerator requires good ventilation and place it on dry flat surface. Do not place hot products in fridge. Do not place ice or liquids which are not sealed. So no actual help in installing this, but I reckon we could probably figure it out.